Hey guys, welcome to me reacting to Game Theory Bendy 2, Return of the Ink Machine, Bendy, and the Dark Reveal by the Game Theorist. Now it seems like he's saying there's a second Bendy game, which I have no idea about, so yeah, but anyways guys, original links in the description. Make sure to subscribe to the Game Theorist, the links also in the description. Let's get right into it. Oh, I love that style.
Bendy and the Dark Revival, huh?
Oh!
Sounds interesting.
There really is a...
Oh, that hurt!
There really is a second game?
Man, it's times like this that I wish I had an attack plunger. You're supposed to throw it at my hand!
Your head's a bigger target.
Oh, I will show you a bigger target.
Okay, I like that. That's good. I look so stupid. I love that
Hello,
intro.
Internet. Welcome to Game Theory. Okay, so I have a
love
confession to make. I've underestimated the Bendy series.
You
I
still
honestly
have.
think most
Go
of
subscribe
us
to Game
have.
Theorist.
So
It's great.
what do I mean by that? Well, from a storytelling
probably
standpoint,
already
these
are.
games are a
That's the
lot more
thing.
sophisticated than you might first believe. Take, for instance, my last episode on the game.
Oh!
Where we covered the design detail of characters
I remember
who
that.
melt
I remember
away,
that.
being creatures who are made entirely of ink versus those
Yeah,
whose
I
bodies
remember that.
persist after being killed. Those are the ones that are infused with real human souls.
Exactly.
I mean, it's an extremely
I remember
subtle
reacting to that.
detail
I
in the
got
game
so
design,
many
and at
views
no
off of
point
that,
does the game
but,
actually
yeah.
spell it out for you, but it's essential for understanding basically the entire plot of this game. Everything from how the ink machine works to the meaning of the ending. But for another great
True.
example, let's look at Sammy Lawrence, everyone's
Sammy
favorite
Lawrence.
music director slash cultist slash part-time hot topic social media manager.
Wait,
he
what?
has this dramatic death at the end of chapter 2.
Wait,
so when he
what?
reappears at the top of chapter 5,
Oh, yeah.
all of us were like, oh, what happened? Cue
Oh
the
yeah,
montage.
same thing.
Oh, okay.
No! No way!
Oh.
You kidding me? Sammy
Wow.
Lawrence?
Wait, really?
It's Sammy!
It's Sammy
Oh,
Lawrence.
even them.
Oh, do we have to finally fight you?
So that's not Sammy, because Sammy died in chapter 2, right?
Gamers across YouTube were
Oh, yeah.
shooketh by this revelation. But if we were really paying attention, and I mean
It's a second
really
version?
paying attention to the details,
Second
we would
version?
have known that Sammy had actually been reborn one other time between those two chapters.
Yeah,
Across
exactly.
Bendy's 5 chapters, there's actually only two
It's a
sorts of candle
second version
assets that are
one.
used. One, that are candles inside of cans of bacon soup, and the other ones
What?
are tall, white candles. Now, the bacon soup candles are used
What?
practically everywhere, but these white ones only tend to be used in places that are associated with music. Remember, Sammy Lawrence is the music director, or
Oh.
places where Sammy physically is. In chapter 2, for instance, they're around all the
Oh.
little prayer altars and sacrificial
Really?
bowls that Sammy has set up for the Ink Demon. Again, in chapter 5, there where Sammy and the Lost Ones have set up their little memorial wall. But they're
Oh, that's
concentrated
cool.
in one other random place throughout the game,
Where?
specifically chapter 4's caves. At the top of chapter 4, there's an ink pool that we have to unlock that
Oh.
contains a respawning swollen searcher.
And
You are
there's
supposed
candle.
to rip off his little ink wart on his shoulder, and then we move on. We use it to create a gear, fix the
Oh, yeah.
little
We know,
hangy
we
dangly
know.
bits, and you move on to the rest of the game. It's a
move
very
on,
simple
yeah.
puzzle. The pieces are right next to each other. It's not that complicated. But if we look closer at that moment, we'll
There's
actually
candles.
notice more of Sammy's ritual candles set up around that inky
Exactly.
pool, with Sammy's
So
iconic
he's been
mask hidden on the ground just behind it.
Really?
Sammy is
I didn't
here
even
too,
notice that.
Trying to summon something. The Ink Demon? We can't really know for sure. Maybe he was successful, which is why his mask is the only thing left there. Now, I didn't find this out
Oh.
myself. It was actually put together by Tumblr user Dreamfisher, who, along with another Tumblr
Oh,
user Adobe
really?
Outdesign, are the two most prolific
Why
Bendy
is that
theorists
a
on the
cock-
internet, as far
Why
as
is
I
that a
know, at least. Their
cockroach?
work has gotten me to start taking a closer look at this game again, which is perfect
Nice.
since there's actually a new game coming out later this year. More on that in a minute, but first, I
Nice.
wanted to talk a little bit about game design. It's interesting. actually. As I've gone back through this game, I've really questioned why I missed some of these details the first time through. And the reason is that the game design has a lot of noise. And I don't mean noise like, wow, I'm at a party and it's so loud
I know
and I
what
need to
he
shout
means.
in order for
Like
anyone
the
to hear
objects have
anything that I'm
noise?
saying. I mean that there's just a lot of details in this world that feel extraneous, whether or not they actually are. Let's take a look at it from a numbers perspective. Noisy data is basically a set of numbers with a large amount of additional meaningless information mixed in. So, hit me with the numbers. Perfect. So like here, right? You look at these data points and you can tell pretty quickly just by looking at it that it's supposed to be in the
My
shape
math
of a line,
teacher would tell me
right?
that's
This is what's
exactly
known
a
as
linear
clean data. But
line,
now,
and
if you open
it's
this up here,
a cluster
use
or
one of
some
these since, like,
stupid thing
science
like
fair in
that.
high school. But now, if you
what?
look at this data, it's a lot less clear what this shape is meant to be. What's important in this data set? What isn't? Is there supposed to be a shape to define these data points at all? Probably
I mean, math
not,
isn't
quite
really
honestly.
stupid, but
all
like,
of this data is very
I'm not
noisy.
sorry. I don't know why I
the
said it
world
was
of
stupid.
statistics is so
I'm just
exciting.
saying.
So now let's
What?
translate it to something that
I'm just
is
saying math
legitimately
is
exciting.
like
Video games.
that's
And
something we
compare
learn
it to
in
everyone's
math,
favorite
but-
franchise on
And I
this
don't
channel.
really like it, but that's my opinion.
Five Nights
So
at
you can have your own
Freddy's.
opinion about math.
It invades even
Wait,
episodes
what?
that aren't about it. But there's a good reason.
Wait, Five
in this
Nights
case.
at
Five Nights
Freddy's
at Freddy's is
isn't?
actually a great example of this concept. FNAF
The
isn't
noise?
a noisy game series. The first game is so stripped down, in fact, that the meaningful
Wait,
data
really?
points just stand out right for you. Golden Freddy, phone guy calls, weird newspapers on the wall. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all you really need to solve
True.
the plot of this thing. In FNAF 2, there's a lot more going on. More rooms, more animatronics, more
there
gameplay,
was
but stuff like
some
the mandatory
sound.
death minigames force the meaningful
I got
data
some
points
noise in my room.
directly into your face. You know that they're important, even if you don't quite understand what they mean. It's up to
really?
you to figure out the line that connects those pieces. But in general, you know what data points you're working with. So now let's
Cool.
translate it over to Bendy. Now, I love Bendy as a game. I love its aesthetics, I love its characters,
Same thing
but it's
here.
a noisy game world. From a design standpoint alone, the walls are covered in
So is
lots
this
of
a
different
noisy
messages. The
theory?
messages themselves repeat multiple times across the 5 different chapters. They all
True.
tend to have the same handwriting.
Oh, the
so it's
creator
unclear
lied to
whether
us. I
they're
remember
supposed to
that.
be tracked to different writers or the same writer. There's mysterious
O's the
footprints
same?
all over the floors, doors open and shut seemingly at random, and there's just a
True.
lot of stuff everywhere. It's a messy, ruined
True.
world, and that's okay. That's part of the atmosphere, but it just makes it unclear what's intentional world
I like
building
that edit.
and what's just there to fill out the space. As a result, when I was crafting theories on Bendy, I tried to stay away from a lot of that messy data and just focus on the things that are clearly important in any game that you play, quite honestly.
Oh,
The
yeah.
audio logs, character designs, dialogue, and things like the ending or end chapter images.
Yeah,
But even those, a lot of times in Bendy, would get changed when a new chapter released or when new updates would come out. And it does seem like as the game's gone on, more and more of it has gotten intentional, which is always a good thing. Anyway, the reason I bring all this up is because this game needs more theorists working on it. There's still a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to sift
And
through.
there
which
might
is
be some
especially important
new
because there's gonna be a new
questions
game,
answered.
Bendy
Yeah.
and the Dark Revival.
I
Already,
cannot wait
there's
for
been a
that.
lot
I
of
did
talk
never-
about
I
this
never
game
heard of
playing into
that.
This new idea of choice based on this one line in the teaser.
But one thing always remains: the choices you make.
And aside from that one line, that's really all we have to go off of. You
Wait.
could say that what's really
this
going
gonna
on
be a
here is
choi-
Bendy and the shots in the dark. Terrible joke. Anyway,
What?
all that being said, I actually think that we've been given more clues
Wait,
about this
is
new
this
game
gonna
than
be
we
a game-
realize. So what is this new game about?
Is this
and
new
what
game
is
gonna be
actually
like a
being revived here?
Minecraft
That,
story
my friends,
mode and,
is
like,
the question for today.
Walking
First,
Dead,
it's
like, you
important
know,
to note that according to one of the game's
like
creators,
those, like,
Mike
choice
Wood on
games?
Twitter, Bendy and the Dark Revival is not a sequel. Phew, there's the tweet right
Oh,
there.
it's a prequel?
Looking at the evidence square in your face. And yes, internet, I know that I put Bendy 2 in the title of this video, but guess what?
Nice.
Sometimes you gotta introduce people to a new game based on, you know, traditional
Well, technically
type
is the
conventions.
second,
I'm
but
trying to prevent another Kingdom
that's
Hearts,
like FNAF
friends. We're not gonna have
Kingdom
ourselves
Hearts.
Bendy's ink drop distance, okay? But Mike, in that same tweet, also makes it very clear that this new game isn't a prequel either. So if it's not a sequel, and it's not a prequel, well, that only leaves us with 2 other possibilities. Either it's an alternate universe.
Yeah, it's an
that's using
alternate-
the same characters in a new way.
Or
it's a side story.
Yeah,
based on
it's a
the
side
evidence that
story.
we have leading up to this
Or
new
it's
reveal.
taking place
I
at the
actually
exact
think it's gonna
same
be a bit of
time.
both. Let me explain here. As we all know at this point, once you beat Bendy the first time through, you get yourself a chance to play through the game again, only this time you're using your lens of truth. to see all the
I
secret
like that.
messages that are sprinkled across
I do
the
like
walls
that.
and
That's
floors
cool.
of Joey Drew Studios across the entire game, not just in the last
Markiplier
chapter.
reference.
And from the
Nice.
opening hallway, already things start getting weird. It becomes immediately clear that you're stuck in some sort of loop,
Oh,
as
turn
evidenced
back.
by the tally marks that you see along the right-hand wall.
Whoa.
Add up those tally marks, though, and you get yourself 414. So apparently, we've already gone through Joey Drew Studios 414 times. It seems like it's an arbitrary
Really?
number, right? No. It's not. The teaser for the new game was officially uploaded onto the Joey Drew Studios YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't see
on
it.
April 14th. 414. And that's not all. In the lead up to this big reveal of the new game, that same channel has been uploading audio
What?
logs from various moments throughout the studio's history. From those logs, you can
What?
actually construct a timeline of events. Bendy's premiere back in 1929, the studio growing in 1931, Alice Angel's premiere in 1932, the first appearance of the Butcher Gang in 1935, troubles with Bendyland in 1940, and the Ink Machine going in and really taking over the studio in 1943. But then there's this one final audio recording, one that combines all the audio of everything that came before, but then introduces us to a whole new voice.
So what can you expect in the coming months?
You never know. He's always watching me.
What?
Very interesting. Such knowledge.
The listed date of that recording, April 14th, questionable year, 414. Again. So very clearly, the game's developers are setting up a connection between the time loop that Henry finds himself trapped in and this new character who's researching the ink machine and the people who are connected to it to uncover the secrets behind the studio. This also isn't the first time that we're hearing about whoever this mysterious observer is. Before Chapter 5 was released, a series of 3 audio recordings were uploaded onto that channel, each one labeled question mark, question mark, question mark. Remember, at this point in the story, Henry has just met Perfect Allison Angel and Cyboris and was being held their prisoner, which is where Chapter 5 begins. These audio recordings were made by Henry during that imprisonment phase.
My name is Henry, and I'm trapped far below Joey Drew Studios.
And while most of what he says across the other clips isn't particularly interesting, no offense, Henry, I know you had nothing better to do. You were stuck in an underground prison in an imaginary ink world, maybe. Who knows? He does make one odd comment that bears repeating here.
There's crazy things happening down here. Monsters, demons, angels. But there's more. There's a secret hiding in the shadows. I just feel like I'm being watched. There's something at work here.
Demons and angels are clearly references to Bendy and Alice.
Yeah.
So what is this other thing? This thing that's listening to him? How is he being watched? It seems very clear that his fears in this audio recording are actually setting up and connected to
the
this
observer guy?
Observing character. So who is this person? Well, in the aftermath of the teaser's
recorder,
release,
right?
some people online have speculated that it might be Bendy himself, learning to talk or something like that, but I would disagree with that conclusion. You see, on the official Bendy Twitter account for the last 2 months, they've been tweeting out a letter a day leading up to this reveal. If you put those letters together, like a grand old game of Wheel of Fortune, we get ourselves this message. Benevolent demon, someone has reawakened the dark. The fact that this phrase is being directed at Bendy and references someone else doing this reawakening indicates that Bendy probably isn't the one in question here. Taking it another step further, the phrase benevolent demon seems to be coming from Sammy Lawrence. He's the only one who not only sees Bendy as a force for good, but also speaks in this sort of biblical heightened language.
For our Lord is calling to us, my little sheep. The time of sacrifice is at hand.
However, think back to the first game. Over the course of Henry's story, we see Sammy go from being a devotee of Bendy,
but the believers must honor their savior,
to being completely disillusioned with Bendy. Which, can you blame the guy? I mean, he just keeps getting killed at the hands of the god that he was just making sacrifices to. So the fact that he's back to calling Bendy a benevolent demon seems to indicate that this actually might be a Sammy from an earlier part of the timeline. Or should I say an earlier part of the story loop. A time before he gets fed up with Lord Bendy ignoring his sacrifices of candles and bowls of soup. Also,
so apparently what Bendy the Ink Machine is a loop. It's a loop.
Which would imply that the dark has been awake before. If the dark is in fact ink, then the ink machine is probably coming to life again.
Yeah,
after
that's what
years
I
of
was
being turned
thinking.
off. Lastly, let's
I was
talk about
thinking that
this
voice
final
was the
shot of
actual ink
teaser,
machine.
the one that bludgeoned me to death at the top of this episode. The jump scare here definitely goes quickly, but if you slow it down and you brighten it up a little bit, the figure actually takes the shape of the Piper, one of the 3 members of the Butcher Gang. You'll notice the ear, the hairline, that elongated face right there.
Yeah.
The Butcher Gang, to me, might be one of the most interesting unsolved mysteries from the original game. I mean, they're treated just like a normal enemy spawn, but stop and actually look at these guys. These creatures have clearly been twisted and tortured, their bodies mutilated and dismembered, and then reassembled together. Every other character in this game is either like an ink blob or some version of an existing cartoon character. But these 3 have been remixed in mutilated ways, with body parts that have been removed and added, and heads and ears swapped positions, mouths sewn shut. And again, this might just be noisy data, just some really cool, creepy designs for these characters, I don't think that's the case. There is clearly a backstory to these 3 particular characters, and that's proven by looking at the design.
Why is liar?
You see that?
Why?
It says right on his belt,
yeah, why does he have liar?
A sign that is written in and branded in that he's a liar. That's not a fashion accessory that you're walking around with there, friend. Clearly, this isn't just an imperfection of the ink process. They're being punished for something that they did when they were human. And let's be clear, even though they do spawn a bunch of times throughough the game, they were
they
human
definitely do
at one point. Or at least a subset of them were.
Wait,
well,
really?
yes, many of them do melt back into the ink when they're beaten.
No,
Many of them don't, as evidenced by Alice Angel's little morgue here in Chapter 3. These guys are dead.
Yeah,
but their
some of these are
bodies
dead.
have remained intact, which means that at one point in time, they did in fact possess a human soul. The other interesting thing
and
about
then
the
did the
Butcher
other
Gang
ink guys
being the
copy
big
them?
climax to this teaser trailer is that they're on the side of Bendy. Think back to Chapter 3 one more time. One of the tasks that Alice Angel gives us is defending her against an attacking onslaught of Butcher Gang members. That battle of allegiances is further supported by that chapter's ending. Remember, this was the one and only part of the original game that had an actual decision point involved. You could either go the demon route or the angel route. It literally changed nothing about how the chapter played out, except for the final image that you were shown at the end of the chapter. The demon route showing you a particularly interesting one. It showed you Bendy leading the charge of an army of searchers and Butcher Gang members. They're aligned. They are on the same team. So now let's look back at this new game's teaser one more time and how it mentions choice. It specifically says that we can...
Angels or cower before demons.
Before demons.
Is this going to be a choice game?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are picking sides. So putting all of this evidence together, here is my prediction for this new game. Whoever this observer is, he's reactivating the ink machine. Probably the one that's currently laying dormant in Joey Drew's house. In doing so, it has the potential to change the course of Henry's story. This isn't a prequel or a sequel. It's yet another iteration of that gameplay loop. The 414th iteration of that loop. Except this time, things might change based on our decisions, based on who we decide to align with. The path of the demon,
that would be
the
awesome.
Angel. And that in turn will dictate how this whole loop plays out. And along the way, hopefully, we learn just a little bit more about these Butcher Gang members. Who knows? Maybe we'll learn who that Tommy gun belonged to. Perhaps, in the end, we'll finally be able to escape the ink reels once and for all. But hey, that's just a theory. A game
Really? Okay,
theory.
I like that meme. I like that meme. That was a good meme. That was a pretty good meme. But yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and you guys will see you in the next one. Bye!